Please work. Why don't I see anything? Oh my god, it's working! Finally. Please work. Yes, I'm not sideways. Okay. So, hi guys. Sorry about that. Let me know if you're tuning in. Let me know that you can hear me now. I'm really sorry for starting late with you all. Send me a hi. Let me know you can hear me. Send me an emoji or something. I can see you on my screen. Okay, you see me. Good. Thank you guys. So welcome to the first episode of Get Lucid TV. I'm super excited to share everything today, share part of my journey. I've written a bunch of notes because I don't want to miss anything out, but I'm going to give it a few minutes for people to kind of join in. Part of the reason that I'm creating Get Lucid TV is because of some realizations that I made this year. I made as 2019 was ending and I was entering 2020, I had that kind of experience where you really reflect on your year and some things that you've gone through. I guess it's more of a cultural thing because when I was living in Japan, the new year you just go to temple and you kind of pray for world peace, you pray for your health, these kinds of things. But I think in American culture, in British culture at least, or let me know if it's the same in your culture, we really do a lot of reflection and goal setting and creating motivations and stuff like that. What did you guys do for your new year? Does this make sense? Is this something you do? I would love to hear from you. I love finding out different things that different cultures do for these kind of celebrations or the end of the year and stuff. So anyway, thank you for letting me know that you are here, that you can hear me. Thank you, Kate. Hi. Thank you, Kenny. And give me a hashtag live if you're watching live. Give me a hashtag replay if you're watching this on the replay. I am gonna upload to YouTube as well for people who can't catch this live. And give me a hashtag newbie or new if we've never interacted before, because I love to find out who is tuning in. I want to make connections with you guys. That's what a lot of this video is going to be about. So please let me know in the comments either while you're watching or after you finish so that we can make that connection if we haven't already. So for those of you who have been following me for a while, you probably know through my posts that over the past year or so I've been working on this research paper. It's a lucid dreaming research paper for my master's degree, and it's in the field of lucid dreaming for mitigating depression. And I'm really going into transformations, helping with mental health, these kinds of things, because the reason I started this work is because of my own experiences with lucid dreaming, and I've seen that it can transform my life. I've seen that it transforms a lot of other people's lives, especially working with participants and stuff like that for the research. But what I want to share with you guys today are some other transformations that happened to me through doing this work, not directly related to lucid dreaming. And this is more of a general, things that anyone can do. It doesn't matter where you're from, what your background is. It doesn't matter if you're in full-time work. I really want to have a space where I can share things that relates to everybody. And in every area of your life, whether that's business, romance, your career, friendships, your health, all of these things. And I'm not, as I'm saying, like, I've experienced this for myself, but I'm so far from perfect. I'm not saying, you know, I've had this transformation and now I'm perfect. I'm saying that from my own life experiences, I've had some of these transformations, and I've been able to kind of create more of the life that I want to live. And I want to share how to do that with other people, how to share have a space to share things that worked for me that I think will really resonate with the general population. So many of us are really crushed by society, or we have shitty people around us. We might even have shitty family members or parents, a bad environment, and these things change our blueprint, right? It changes the way that we think and feel and the way that we view our entire worlds, which is one of the reasons why I really like lucid dream work, why I really like psychedelics, because these are modalities that help us actually rewire our brains and alter our perception. And when we do that, we can remodel the way that we actually want to live our lives. So in simple terms, that is really what lucid living is, and that's what I want to get more into on this Get Lucid TV series. And I'll go into that in a bit more detail in a little bit. But yeah, lucid living, to put it simply for right now, it kind of touches on that part of what people call enlightenment, right? But enlightenment, whether you view it in a spiritual way, like, you know, reaching these higher states, being able to contact your higher self, or you might view enlightenment in a very monetary way, like having huge success in business, being able to have your own house, support your family, whatever it is. When we're tapping into that energy force of the universe and getting the things that we want in life, when everything is just falling into place perfectly, that's what I'm touching on, that plays a huge success in this work. So yeah, whether you identify with that as a spiritual thing or a more, you know, conservative type of thing, business thing, whatever your definition is, I really think that what I'm going to share today will help you, and I think everyone will resonate with a bit of this on their journey. So let me get started. Up until now, I've been doing this kind of work, coaching, research stuff with a lot of my participants, and also on myself and with family and friends and people that are around me. But I've always been really scared of putting myself out there like this on video, on Facebook, for literally anyone that wants to tune in. My auntie Mandy's watching, hi. And really dive deeper into this kind of transpersonal modality that is lucid dreaming. I've also been really focused on helping those people who are part of my research, but they're in a really small, specialized bracket, you know, working with people who deal with depression or a specialized area of anxiety. And whilst I still believe that so much work is needed in that field, I also feel like there's a part of me that closes myself off to the more general population, right? Which just covers kind of everyone, because everyone goes through depressions. There's people with it at different levels and stuff. But I also want to speak to people who like you guys, like people who are just going to tune into a video. It doesn't matter whether they're interested in lucid dreaming or have depression or these things, just speaking to anyone and everyone. And I feel like up until now, I've really been doing an injustice to myself and to other people by limiting myself to this really small population. So part of this process of me going live and doing this is to also reach some of you people that I may have not connected with before. And I'm still going to speak about lucid dream stuff because that is such a huge part of my life. But what I really want to get into is more of this like psychedelic work, maybe some like taboo topics, speaking about psychological things that transform our lives human to human, things that we all experience because we're living this same conscious human experience, right? And in the past, again, when I was in Japan, one of my jobs was teaching English, and so I was put in this kind of strange situation where you just are sitting in a cubicle with someone who often is a very beginner level of English, but rather than using a textbook, I really enjoyed just trying to find different ways to converse and find out about what these people wanted to talk about, what lights a fire up inside them. And so that's another thing that I want to get into for the Get Lucid TV series is like, what do you guys want to talk about? What lights a fire up in you? What are some conversations that we don't get to speak about in our everyday lives that are really controversial sometimes or interesting, or we don't have a chance to do so? And I want to start some of those conversations. So please also comment if there's something really in particular that you think I could do one of these videos on. I know a lot of people want me to talk about psychedelics and dream work and stuff like that, which I'm going to do at a later date. But what I want to share today is why I'm starting this monthly Get Lucid TV series, and what happened to me during that transition of 2019 to 2020, and get kind of vulnerable with you guys, really, because that's the tone that I want to set for this series. And I also want to bring that out in others as well and have a place where people can do that. So in our lives, there are many situations or times where we feel out of alignment, where we act from a place of fear, where we act from a place of anger. And when these things come up, it's really difficult for us to make a connection at all. It's so difficult to make a connection with others, or it seems like when we're acting from that kind of place, nothing is going right. It's like when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed kind of situation, and your day just starts on this downward spiral. And on those days, it's almost impossible to even think about that type of lucid living person that you might be on every regular day, or that touching that kind of enlightenment state that some of us can tap into, and it so easily escapes us sometimes when we get back into the grind of everyday life, or maybe a 9-to-5 job, stuff like that. So I went through this really long battle with this last year, not necessarily a depression, right, but just an exploration of these kind of feelings coming up, a lot of fear, a lot of anger, a lot of frustration. And that is what got me to launch this series today. So I want to kind of explain that journey and share some resources with you guys, because I think this is happening to a lot of people. So this really started around April 2019 for me, so not even a year ago. And it was when I first launched my business and first started kind of posting things online and thinking like, yes, this is what I want to do. I really want to go for this. So between April 2019 and November kind of ish time of 2019, so the best part of 6 to 7 months, I was just coming into contact with asshole after asshole, to put it nicely, honestly. I was just getting abusive message after abusive message. I would try and create something that I thought was inspiring or share something, and I was just being bombarded with like haters basically, or these keyboard warrior bashers, just this is all bullshit, or you're just trying to make money, you're trying to do this, like just message after message. And I still get this now, actually. I'm sure I'll get it from doing this video, but I have transitioned to a different energetic place, so it can't touch me now. But I feel like this is happening to a lot of people, and so I want to kind of touch on that transformation today. So I felt like, I don't think these people are bad people, honestly. I think that these people are lost. These people are going through some kind of jealousy, ego thing. They just want to hate on someone, and they're on this mission to just push negativity, right? And the weird thing that I found, and let me know if this is the same case for you, is that a lot of these people will label themselves as like a spiritual person, right? Or they'll label themselves as some kind of healer. Like you go on their profile and they're like, I'm a mystical this, or I'm this kind of empowerment coach, or this kind of teacher. And this was making me even more angry because I was just so confused. I was like, is this the community I want to go into? Like I wanted to create this company that I'm making, but I was also like, if I start, I don't want to be associated with these kind of people, like these spiritual people who are just telling other people how to live their lives, right? But doing it in this really negative way, as if there's some perfect path of how you have to teach something, as if there's this perfect way of, oh, you can't produce a video about this because you're not a scientist, or you're not using scientific terms, or you're not doing this. There's always these rules that people are putting on Mason saying, hell yeah, Mason runs a podcast called All Aboard the Dream Train, and I can't even imagine how many times he probably has to deal with this stuff. So yeah, this was making me really angry because it's these people claiming to be this like source of wisdom, and it was just a lot of BS, and it was really making me think like, when you're thinking about making a decision, when you're thinking about creating something, when you're thinking about doing something like this, going live, putting yourself out there, that fear comes up. We're scared of people. We're scared of, what are people going to think of me if I do this, right? And for me, doing lucid dream work and dream work, a lot of it is very personal. It's very scary to share anything out there like this. And so when I started getting these messages from haters, I immediately shut down, right? Last year, kind of early April, I was like, wow, this is not me. I shouldn't do it. Maybe I should just get in a blanket, curl up, keep my dream journal to myself, like just do this on my sofa, do my little research in my home, submit it to my school or whatever, but not publish anything. Like I don't want to be involved in any of this. And if you have followed me, you might see me touching on this a tiny bit with Jennifer in the new series I'm launching on Instagram, which is called Get Dreaming With, and it's a kind of quick fire 15 to 20 minute interview series, and Jennifer talks about this as well. She talks about how scary it is to put yourself out there and share anything online, because there's so many people that are quick to bash what you're doing, right? So this was going on, and on top of all this like negativity, I'm trying to do data analysis for my research. At one point I was working 7 different jobs, right? Just doing different things that I could every day, filling in with these little part-time jobs, like cleaning at different places that I train at, all of this stuff. And then I'm launching my business. I'm trying to work on my website. I'm writing my research. And when you're doing that on repeat for 6 months plus, you're gonna start feeling depleted. You're gonna start feeling burnt out. Give me a little wave if you've experienced any of this where you're just like, what am I doing? How can I possibly do this, right? Everything turns into a fucking nightmare. This dream thing that you're trying to work on, you're like, what was I thinking? So getting to the end of this year, when it was around maybe November time, I'd got my flights booked to California. I was going out to see family, and I could not wait to get this paper done and just kind of disappear. I'd been trying to push stuff since April out, and I was just like, I am done. Like, I'm just so excited to have 10 days where I don't have to do fucking anything. But then I also had this other side of me that was like, that's not me. This is not me, because I love what I do. I genuinely feel like this kind of work is my life's purpose, you know, like I experience so much joy, so much bliss from connecting with other people who are interested in these things, whether it's psychedelics, dream work, just consciousness, just chatting and connecting. And I feel really lucky that people are sharing these deep, intimate parts of themselves, their psyches, with me through a lot of dream work, and seeing people get these results and transform their lives and share these beautiful stories through this type of work. There's nothing better than that. So what happened was that the universe, I guess, or like synchronicities, or whatever you want to think of it, right when I was at that peak of like, you know, I'm going into the next year, I don't know if I should do this, the universe provided me with 2 resources that I want to share with you guys today, because I'm seeing this happen to a lot of people. I see a lot of hate on Facebook and hate online, and it kind of transcends all fields of work right now. So I want to share that with you today. So resource 1 comes from my childhood friend, Sam Woolfe. Sam has no idea that I'm going to talk about him in this video. So hey Sam, if you tune in. I met Sam when I was about 12 years old, just in my local park, hanging out with friends, and we ended up growing up together in the same friendship group from like, this age, about 12 to 18 when I left the UK. We're still really good friends now, but throughout that time period, kind of 12 to 18, the friendship group we were in, we did a lot of partying. Like we were partying like there was no tomorrow, and like that we would never taste a drug again, you know. We were really going for it. And Sam was interesting because Sam was one of the only people I knew who was in this group, but he could say no to the peer pressure. He was on this drive, this mission, consuming information and doing really well, and he would stay home and study, and he would just be like, no, I gotta study, I gotta do this. And so he's incredibly intelligent, incredibly articulate, and it is no surprise to me that he has so much wisdom to share in these kind of areas. And he's actually become a freelance writer, and I'm going to link his website or whatever somewhere here. I think it's samwoolfe.com, but I'll put it somewhere so that you guys can see it. And his stuff is really cool. He writes a lot about psychology, mental health, your career as a someone who works from home, or someone who's working and traveling, psychedelics, a bunch of cool stuff. And you may have actually seen one of his posts that I shared recently, because it was going viral online, and it's about how and why we see jesters in the DMT realms. But the post I want to talk about today is an article that Sam wrote on crab mentality and why we can't be happy for other people's success. So if you guys have never heard of this, crab mentality is this phenomenon where if you have a bunch of live crabs in this bucket, and one crab starts to try and get out the bucket or is like making it to the top, the other crabs will pull that crab back down into the bucket. So it's this kind of analogy of the jealous mindset, like if I can't have it, you can't have it. And I feel like this is this huge thing that's happening on social media at the moment, where people are just really jealous and pulling other people back, and the haters and the comments and stuff that goes on, like what I was talking about earlier that I've experienced. It doesn't help, and it doesn't make us feel better at all. You know, bringing someone else down, or you both being down at the bottom of the bucket, so to speak, that's not helping anyone. And something really beautiful that comes out of dream work and comes out of psychedelics and what I've learned from doing those, and give me a heart if you agree with this, is that you have this shift in perspective where we realize we are all really connected. We all are. And in this kind of, on a psychedelic trip, or maybe if you use psilocybin or quite strong psychedelics, you can actually see it. You can see how everything is attached. Inanimate objects, normal humans, like everything, you know, has that kind of breathing effect. And sometimes on a high dose, you can even see how the kind of energetic field, it's difficult to describe it, but like the kind of squares and colors that run through us are running into everything. And once you have that shift, it's really beautiful, because you can begin to genuinely connect with, not only connect with, but actually, you know, bask in the success of others like never before. So then your life really changes and transforms, because it's not just when you do something successful yourself that you get to be like, oh yeah, I did this. It's for everyone. And when you're celebrating everyone in your friendship circle, there's never a day that goes by that's not interesting or full of some kind of success. An example of this for me is with one of my best friends, Amber, who you've probably seen on my story, and she's an incredible marketing and business coach, and she just did such a successful online launch of this program she's doing, Scale and Elevate Academy, which is helping women reach 5K months for the first time in their business. And when she did this launch and she got people on it, I was going nuts myself. Like, and I don't necessarily benefit from it myself personally, but I was just so excited for her, so excited for the girls on the program. And so this excitement and this joy and basking in people's successes just seems so much more of a beautiful mentality to have. The same with seeing Sam's DMT article that I just spoke about going viral online, and seeing other people post this thing, and then looking and seeing that it's my friend. I text him straight away, like, oh my God, your thing is being posted by so many people on my feed. So excited, so happy. So I guess the first resource is have a look through this article and allow yourself to get inspired by other people. And I've used this article by thinking, you know, when I'm interacting with someone who's a hater or whatever, really being able to visualize that bucket, right? And what crab I am, what crab they are, and how I want to see it. Instead of, and if you're someone who resonates with, you know, you might feel somewhat triggered or think like, oh, I've done that to someone. I've pulled someone down from the bucket. And the likelihood is that we all have at some point in our lives, because of jealousy or ego getting in the way and making us feel bad about not succeeding when someone else is, right? But if you can shift perspective and see that someone getting to the top of the bucket or going over the bucket, only they're the same thing as you. Like, you guys are the same crab. So there's a way out the bucket, right? There's a way that you can do it too. Instead of pulling someone down, it's like, help them pull you up, right? And I'll say something controversial because fuck it. Like I think that this whole concept that's going on at the moment with people saying like you've got this because of white privilege or all these things, I just think that's such a negative outlook to have on things, to play the victim mentality and, well, you have this because of this. Like, we can all have these things. If someone else is getting to the top of the bucket, you can too. And I think we're living in a time more than ever right now where this is really possible, especially if you're in a first world country like America or England. So yeah, from reading the article, I was really able to shift my perspective and even empathize with some of the crabs that are at the bottom of the bucket. And this helped me start reacting differently. Instead of seeing someone who's leaving like a hater kind of comment as pulling me down, because I reached that shift of like being untouchable by that, I started seeing it more as a tug for help rather than pulling on me. Yeah, I could see them as like, you're reacting to me in a way because you need help or because you are seeing me doing something and you want that. And so that allowed me to respond to people in a way where I could really help people actually explore that or talk about what did trigger you, like what was going on, and help them explore that as well. So for resource one, I just encourage you to remember like what crab you want to be, and maybe in a situation like that comes up, what crab they are at that time and whether you can help pull each other up. So that's one segment of dealing with haters, but there is another segment that is important as well. So the next resource that I want to share, it came from a video that popped up on my newsfeed. It might be exactly like what this one is doing for you right now. And it was called Digital Dickheads. And this resource is made by Michelle Stonhill, who she's a 7-figure entrepreneur for women. This woman is a powerhouse coach. She's truly authentic, and it's why I started following her, and also part of why I've been inspired to make these videos today. And she started sharing in this Digital Dickheads video about how the more success she had, the more people started coming after her. The more success she shared she would have more and more people sending her more and more hatred, horrible videos. And I think this is particularly true for a lot of women entrepreneurs. Give me some eggplant emojis if you're a woman and you resonate with this. I would love to see it. I'm just joking. You don't have to do that, but not just men though. Like it doesn't happen just from men. There's also the mean girls mentality. And I know for Michelle, she's also spoken about how she would share her success and have these groups of girls who would create like a group on Facebook just spreading hate about her or saying that she's trying to shame her or doing the whole keyboard bashing, or you're obviously lying, your testimonials are fake, all of that stuff. So in this situation, unlike the resource I shared with Sam, this situation is detached from the crab thing. There is no way that with these people you can reach out an olive branch, and I guess it's always a good thing to try, and I do try and do that. I do try and check in if someone is giving me that kind of hate. But in this kind of situation, I think it's important that people know you can click the block button and you can move on. You don't need that kind of shit in your life. So the two kind of things that I learned from these resources, the crab mentality and Michelle's Digital Dickheads video, was that number one is you have to be so selective about who you have in your life and in your bubble. And this transcends your own, waking life. This is on social media. Who's in your feed? Whose stuff are you seeing every day, and where are you putting your energy? Who are you letting into your bubble, right? If you're someone who scrolls through Facebook and you have someone on your feed that every day is just pouring out this negative stuff, or hating on people, or constantly you know, changing your mindset into this negative thing, it has a huge effect on your thoughts. And these thoughts that you see, or these things that you read through social media, they almost get just like implanted into your brain, like they're your own thoughts. Then you start thinking negatively, right? It's kind of like fake news. Like you read something and then you just start believing it. It's almost this instant fake news thing. What's Stuart saying, can we do a live reality check? Yeah, for sure. Still awake. So, and then number 2 is that shifts really start to happen when we're working with a trauma or a nightmare, whether it's in your waking life or in your dream life. So the positive twist on these kinds of situations, if they're happening to you, is that I think we can see it as the opportunity being provided for us to get closer to that lucid living state, right? A lot of us go through our lives thinking that we have to stay connected to some people that we've been friends with, or you know, just because they've always been there, even though they maybe don't bring any positivity into our lives. And that's just not true. We get to choose who we want in our bubble, who we want to spend our energy on. And that's an active decision that you can make for yourself. So I encourage you to just pay attention to the people that you're surrounding yourself with this year, and maybe think more about, you know, who we want to distance ourselves from, or even block, or even delete, right? So taking note of the above has brought me to a space where I have this community now. I've created this bubble, and I have the strength to do this, to be on camera right now, to rise up and also bring all you guys along with me if you're also looking for the same kind of community. And I want to give a couple of real life examples that have happened to me over the past couple of weeks, so that you can do the same and start making these shifts, learning from others and creating your own blueprint. So another incredible friend of mine who's in the lucid dreaming community, and I just saw him like the video, so he might be in here and have no idea about this. He doesn't know I'm going to mention him, but his name is Reece Jones. And he is also known as the OG lucid dreamer. He's been on YouTube for like forever. He's only in his mid-30s, but he's very intelligent, and he also still has like beautiful baby skin. You would have no idea he's 30. But he decided to create this, put together a group of lucid dreaming content creators, right? He noticed that in a lot of the communities, you know, sometimes the astral projection stuff, or lucid dreaming, or remote viewing, there's a lot of clashes, because people, I don't know, they decide that they want to be very strict and selective about what is possible and what's not possible. So instead of supporting each other and sharing advice, they just end up fighting. So Reece did a really cool thing where he got people like me who want to start creating content, or are creating content, to just have a group together where we're supporting each other. And every day I can go on this group and share advice, or talk about a video I want to do, really personal stuff, and it's beautiful. They're just people sharing that together, encouraging each other, watching each other's videos, sharing them, inviting other people to the group. And this really helped me not only to do this today, but the other day, as I said, when I was doing a video with Jen, a guy, again, came at me, started attacking me, saying really mean stuff, and it's a lot easier said than done to just ignore it. We always really focus in on the negative comments. unfortunately, that's human nature. But Jen sent me a message immediately as I saw this and was like, oh, another hater. And she was like, go look at the YouTube comments. It'll make you smile. And I went and looked on YouTube, and all of the guys in this content creator group recognize that fears come up for us on a daily basis. And we have to ask ourselves, are these thoughts or feelings serving me right now? And I'll give you another example of how negative thought patterns come up. So when I was writing my paper, I didn't have the time or space to connect with as many women as I wanted to. I have a lot of women friends and a lot of people that I want to see, but it's very difficult to make time. So a couple of days ago, I decided that I wanted to set up a girls' Valentine's dinner, right? And I was going to invite like 10 plus women to this dinner. I've never done anything like this, but I thought that would be a great way to celebrate. Not only, so I'm going to finish my research paper, the deadline's February 17th, and I thought like that Saturday, the 22nd, I'll just get all my ladies together and we'll celebrate like loving each other, and it'll be this cute Valentine's thing. And then fear came up, right? I thought, what if people don't get along? What if, people don't want to come? All these fears started coming up for me, and then that thought clicked in, right? Where is the fear coming from? Where is that stemming from? And it's stemming from, so I fell into that, and I was like, is this serving me? No. Where is it coming from? It's coming from my memories of those mean girls that I'm talking about, who I experienced in my childhood. Still, I'm unfortunately see them around now, online or whatever. But, just asshole little girls from the past who would cause drama, start a fight with someone, those kinds of things. And then it clicked, I had that awareness click in, like, that kind of attitude doesn't define these women that I'm friends with. Like, all these women that I want to invite to this thing are very powerful, interesting women who can handle themselves, and they would never start a fight at a dinner or cause drama or anything like that. And then I also had the other thought of like, well, if for some reason no one can come, that doesn't stop me from going on my own Valentine's date, like on my own, go out to this restaurant and enjoy dinner for myself and celebrate, with myself. So I made the group chat. I took the initiative and I sent out a message to 10 plus women inviting them to this Valentine's thing. And not only did I overcome that fear and realize that I don't need to live by that limiting belief anymore about the women that I interact with, but within an hour, every single girl had messaged me saying, I'm definitely going to be there, I can't wait, I'm coming. Some of them even rearranged plans. Thank you, Lagaya. And the only person who couldn't come was one of my besties, Amber, who I mentioned earlier, and we've now arranged to go on a different date together. So my point from that resource is make your own group. Life doesn't just happen to us, right? We can also input. I saw this really sad post on Reddit recently. I think it was in the men under 30s or whatever. I like to follow that because I want to see what the perspective is from the other gender. But he posted this thing saying my 30s sucks because it's been a month since I realized anyone has even given me a phone call. And my thought about that is I remember when I used to be someone too scared to pick up the phone, and that was such a limiting thing for me. I'm so glad that some of my best friends pushed me into doing phone calls and stuff like that. And I think if you're someone who's watching this and you haven't picked up the phone to a friend, or you're always someone who's waiting for someone to text you or invite you to a group, think about this year. Maybe you can be the group starter. Maybe you can be someone that initiates something, especially for guys. I think it's difficult for guys to like just call your friend. But honestly, if you haven't called your bro in like 30 days or something, I encourage you to just give it a try. Give your bro a call. I reckon he would be so happy to hear from you. And you don't have to talk about anything of importance. You talk about a book you're reading, a show you're watching, just your general life. People feel so great knowing that someone maybe thought of them that day and decided to give them a call. And so if you're someone that hasn't done something like that, or you don't have this group of people, I really urge you to try it out and see where the fear may be stemming from that's stopping you doing that, and if there's something that you can do about it. Tony Robbins has a really cool quote that I have on my fridge, and it just says, your bio does not define you. It doesn't define you. It's not your destiny. Your decisions are your destiny. And I think that's so true. We don't have to live from that history part of our lives or what was happening to us in the past. If I was living from that point right now, I wouldn't have the girlfriends I have. None of us would have been doing that stuff. I wouldn't be making calls. I wouldn't be joining these groups. And it would just be limiting me. So I think that's what living lucidly is all about for me. And that's what dreaming is all about. It's about contribution, making decisions, supporting each other, growing together, loving each other, and reaching our full potentials together and pushing each other. So that's going to be kind of the theme for Get Lucid TV. It's obviously going to link up to some dream work techniques, different coaching resources, mini training stuff. I have a lot of different cool ideas that I want to share, but I also just want to include like real life stories, because I think it doesn't matter who we are or where we're from. If we have this kind of attitude together of like, I'm going to choose to have this, I'm going to decide to get this, decide to really do that inner work and make a difference in our lives and really just go for it. That's kind of what this series is going to be about. And I know that this will still get haters, which blows my mind, because that's like, what? Yeah. So if you're hating on the video, I urge you to, well, firstly, I want to let you know that you're the one that clicked on my face. I'm not asking you to watch this. But also maybe something inside you needs to hear this. If me saying these things is making you feel in a certain way, or like, oh, I don't need to do that, like, just feel into it. Like, why is it making you feel that kind of repulsion? The other thing that I want to make clear is I'm in no way, shape, or form describing that I myself have reached like any kind of enlightened state, or that I'm an enlightened being or a guru or a teacher or anything like that. What I'm trying to express is that I'm doing this and putting myself out there like this to make connections with some of you who are listening, some of you who are still watching this and thinking like, yes, this is the path I want to be on. I want to be able to cheer on my friends, share our successes, live in this life of abundance, create these things, make a difference, transform our lives, all of it. So as much as some of the people in this video have inspired me, I'm now willing to get vulnerable and kind of do this stuff with you guys, just in the knowing that, you know what, doing this, even if I get hate, it's worth it if it lights that fire in one of you, or inspires even just one person in any kind of way, or makes them make a difference in their lives that can make things a lot better. So yeah, overall, if someone or something is stopping you from being you, or if you're operating a lot of the time from a place of fear or a place of anger, I urge you to try and use these resources or bring them in those times to see if you can redirect that energy into a fire. Like, is the next hater or someone who tells you you can't do it gonna stop you and you'd rather just stop and feel sad about it, or let that anger like burn inside? Or are you gonna use that to give you more power to be like, no, I am going to do it. I am going to do this. I am going to put myself out there and prove them wrong. So there are 3 things that I would love for you to do for me at the end of this video, so it's not just a passive watching, it's more of an action doing thing. So if you're still on the yes train with me about all of this, I want to tell you 4 things that we can do together. So number 1 is that if any of this resonates with you, you have had any of these experiences, I would love for you to share your own story. I know it's difficult to share a story in the comments. It doesn't have to be anything spectacular or huge or this like dragon slaying experience, although those transformation stories are incredible and very inspiring. And this episode is all about stories that inspire. But if you've just listened to this and felt like, yeah, I've had a similar experience, or if anything was a real turning point in your journey for you, or if you have a resource similar to the ones I mentioned earlier that you can share, I invite you to comment them on the video, share them with other people. You never know what someone might need to hear right now or see right now, and how that can really change the direction of someone's life. I know that a lot of us have had these experiences where it's just like you had a really life-changing moment and it goes back to a story someone told you or some advice they shared, or like I said, with my experiences, just things popping up online that I was like, yes, I needed to hear that right then. And yeah, it just might be a tiny synchronicity. So I encourage you to share your story, or if it's really personal, please message me. I would love to know that what I'm saying makes sense or is resonating with some people. You know, when shit hits the fan and when we feel like the world is against us, and especially if we're good people, I always have that feeling like, why? I'm such a good person, why would this happen? It's always been the stories, the inspiring stories that have really helped me pull through, and that's why I wanted to start this series with part of my own story of why I'm doing this and why I'm not letting myself just, you know, curl up on a ball in a blanket on the sofa and do this work on my own, and why I'm getting vulnerable and really pushing myself to do these things. So yeah, and I think sharing really inspires us and it serves us, and it's maybe this is inspiration for something that you can start today, or if this has inspired you to make a difference today or start something new today, please give me a hashtag starting today. You don't even have to say what it is, but I would just love to know that this is making sense. The second thing is maybe a little bit more difficult or uncomfortable, but when you finish watching this video, I would love for you to just meditate on who might benefit from hearing this information tonight, or hearing these kind of stories tonight. Do you know someone who could really benefit from these resources or hearing these things right now? And again, it doesn't have to be someone in crisis. It doesn't have to be someone who has depression or anxiety. This might just be a good friend that you know is in the grind, needs a pick-me-up. Maybe someone that inspires you all the time and you're like, hey, I want to share something inspiring back. Maybe you don't even know why you're thinking of this person, but if you're thinking of them and you feel like these things would be helpful, please just tag them. Just see how it is. An even more controversial thing, the third thing that I would love is, and I'm going to say this because I know we got a lot of flames in this group of powerful people. So if this really resonated with you, or you found it beneficial in any way, or you have a similar story, please share this on your page, share it in a group, share it with people that you think will benefit, and just write at the top of the video, you know, a small thing on maybe what point helped you, or even if you're like, just watch this 2-minute clip, or whatever it is. I would love for you to share it with others or put it on your own page. So the last thing is that if you're not sure where to start, or if you're wanting to find this kind of group of people that are doing these things, working on their lives, aiming for successes and pushing each other and doing that deep inner work, working through traumas, even just working through day-to-day grinds with business, fitness, health, relationships, love, all of it, consider coming to Dreaming Wide Awake retreat. It's a 3-day 2-night lucid dreaming retreat. You don't have to have ever had a lucid dream before, but as I've said, lucid dreaming is such an incredible transpersonal modality that really helps us dig through this inner work, maybe think and bring more awareness to times that we are acting from fear or anger, where those feelings are originating from, and very easily rewire our blueprint and our negative thought patterns, and even overnight see incredible transformations. So if that sounds like something interesting to you, or if you know someone who might benefit from that kind of group of people and experience, then please check out Dreaming Wide Awake retreat. It's going to be from April 10th to 12th, 2020 this year. You can find it through my website, which is my name, lanasackvall.com, and then /Dreaming Wide Awake. So thank you guys for showing up for this episode, tuning in. This is something that I would never dream that I would start doing, but I'm so incredibly excited to do this with you guys, to be on this journey together, and to start it in the beginning of 2020. It's a whole new experience for me, and this is something that I'm starting new. So thank you again, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's stuff you'd be interested in for future episodes, and I hope you join in for episode 2, which will be in February. Thank you so much.